I think subconsciously, since we were kids, we really know what we wanted to do. I think everybody has this thing where if they just listen to what their mind is telling them, that they'll figure out what they really want to do. Of course, there's certain things that, like your desires, that are really negative, that are just kind of like, where is that coming from? It's not really me. It's like kind of like evil. It's like this evil whispers that go on in your head at times that come up, and you're just like, that's not me. From wherever that is, that's just an influence. But that's like a tangent. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. When it comes to wanting to be like your heroes, people you looked up to as a kid, people who inspired you, and in whatever way, shape, and form you start developing this idea about what you can do to repay the fact that you've been given life, to repay the fact that you have an opportunity and you can do it the way that you want. And for me, that's, of course, is music. The sad part that I feel in my musical talents is the fact that I've never went out and bought these instruments and been playing around with it since I was a kid, because to me, music started really when I was in my early 20s and, probably 19 to now. But I've still only been practicing my skill of writing. I've only been practicing the skill of envisioning what I want to say in my lifetime about, helping myself express myself and creating this imagination for people when they listen that brings them, a certain type of environment of healing and change through my music. And I'm not always delivered on that, because sometimes you're just in your dopamine and in your rush and you just write whatever that's coming to you, and sometimes it's not clean. But ever since I've been developing as a man, as a human being, I've done way better at encapsulating this idea of what I want to say on the mic. But again, it can't be so superficial. It can't just be, what am I saying? It has to be, what am I really creating? And that comes to with music. It's so many layers of creativity, from the instruments you're using and how you're using it, from developing a sound for yourself and using your verbal technique to get the listener to grasp exactly what you're saying, and also develop this deep layer of lyrical profoundness. In my opinion, for myself, is this lyrical profoundness of describing today and describing the future and describing the past in a way that's authentically me, and also from perspectives of, these imaginary worlds that I've found myself in, and also how it impacts my reality. And the crazy thing is that I want to be developing my sound through the instruments that I'm using. But the problem has been, for me, I just been so sucked into the real world. Look, music is also real world. It's also pragmatic, right? You can't always just, like, creativity wise with music, you do get lost in this world that is only something you see and God sees with you. Many people just listen to it and they find it their own way, but it's never exactly what you're saying. But lyrically, again, it's pragmatic. People will understand what you're trying to say and get what you're saying from a realistic lens, right? That's why Russ is just so popular. Russ is just so dynamically direct in the creativity, and also making it fun to listen to. His insights and perspectives, and also his foresight and what is it? His what's the word? I think it's insight, like reflection upon his life and relationships, and he makes it so simple, but it's so creative. It's so fun to listen to. At the same time, for me, it's just, I want to master these lyrics. But coming back to the point, I'm a little bit scatterbrained, but to come back to the point where, I've been working on my lyricism a lot, and it's still not where I want it to be. But with the music, I just haven't had the time to really pick up an instrument and say, I'm going to learn it. Of course, you can make time, but again, there's just so many different responsibilities that I have to make sure are priorities. Over time, I'm spending like to learn an instrument and learn how to produce and mix and master, and I just haven't been able to do that. And that's the one thing that I really feel like I need to do for me to be able to explore more so on my music a lot more. Another thing is like when I look at videos by Sneeko, and to be honest with you, I've always been a fan of people, and someone once told me don't be a fan of anybody, and I don't believe in that. I believe when I see something I really like what someone does, I really put my heart into it and say I really love what this person is producing. Even though you don't agree with everything that someone says, but still, like I love the fact that Sneeko is producing what he's producing and has had a life that he's had and probably met all his heroes. And one of those things is that as a person from my background, you don't see many people like me getting that level of success within this genre of career or genre of a lifestyle. When it comes to music, when it comes to creativity, when it comes to doing all these different things that you have to in your disposal right now, like creating videos and podcasting or making a vlog or making TikToks or creating a design for your hoodies and creating music overall. And all these things are wrapped into just what creativity is. You're just trying different things and making it just fun for yourself, right? But at the end of the day, as a creator, you want there to be a response from the universe, as in where everybody is. I mean, this world is so big, I can call the earth the universe in itself. There's just so many people on this planet right now, alhamdulillah. And it just makes things... Wait one sec. I'm just working right now, so with that, I have to manage to do things that while I'm working, I'm being productive on other things, but of course I'm not supposed to. That's the tough part, when you have to balance work, when you have to balance your responsibilities at home. But what I really want to do is just go full blown, spend my 8 hours a day discovering more techniques, discovering how to enhance my talents, discovering how to upskill myself in the things that I really want to do. I don't want to work a job. A job is a job, right? That one woman was like, job your love. I mean, to be honest, everyone made fun of that, but what she's really saying is that make the thing that you love your career. And to be honest with you, I'm not the type of person to say, well, if I'm making money off of it, it's not really fun anymore. Yeah, originally when I was making music, it was never for the money, and it still is not for the money, but to get a reward from that, it's an amazing thing to have, right? To be able to live off of it and be successful off of it. And of course you're gonna have struggles. I mean, music is really hard. It's not hard to stay relevant, but it's once you get going, once you put yourself out there and get going, I mean, there's a certain audience for everybody. But one of the hardest things that I've been having to deal with, because I've gone through some mental health challenges, and I had this underlying, depression and sadness. And I always thought that this sadness is from God, and it's from the lack of me earning what I really want to earn and have this lifestyle of freedom to create. But in reality, there had to be some medical intervention with that sadness. And ever since that intervention, I've had to go on some type of medicine because I've had this, bipolar and schizoaffective disorder since I was 19 due to using marijuana and LSD. And that impacted me a lot because I lost a lot of the opportunities at that youthful age to make a clear-cut decision of leaving Virginia and going somewhere else. But I needed to stay around my family because in that time I was really just like in chaos. And I've kind of grown up in a chaotic environment to an extent. Like every time I'm around people, like a crowd of people, there are times I get really nervous and I start shaking. And I thought, in the culture, you say that's a bitch, like why are you shaking? But in reality, when you look deeper into it and the science behind it, is the fact that my nervous system is just in this mode of protecting myself in fight or flight because I've been in such a chaotic experience in the parenting in my life or the siblings. And we've had chaos since I was a young age because I'm the youngest, so I saw a lot of the chaos going on in my house. So that that became internalized, and with marijuana and all this other stuff, it got worse, and the subconscious was just super affecting my reality. Throughout my life, I've tried to put myself in groups of people or friends, and in where I'm at in Virginia, it's not the hardest thing to do, but at this age, I'm 28 years old. I don't think I'm right now, like, I don't have any friends that I'm spending enough time with. Like, I have many people that I know, but there's only one or two people I could say that are actually longtime friends. One is over the past 10 years, and that's not even consistency, right? It's just checking in, checking out. And there's another friend that I met, and he's like 20 years older than me. And that's probably the most sincere relationship as far as a male friend. Other than that, I haven't spent much time with the opposite gender because of me being a Muslim. I've always wanted to find a wife, and I can be friendly with women, but I've never been friends like that. But overall, right now, definitely found somebody that is gonna be my wife. Like, if you go to New York, like example, out of Virginia, if you go to New York, you have so many opportunities to experience new experiences with these, whoever's on the street, and come across people that you'll meet in a few minutes, and out of nowhere, you just get to know them really quickly. And in Virginia, that's hard to come by. Things are very slower, but again, it's a decent paced environment. But when it comes to finding creatives and stuff, I've had a difficult time, and I don't think that's a story for everybody. But for me, like, I know people who have made a career out of Virginia of producing music or being a creator, and for me, it just hasn't clicked, right? I can make up excuses and say, well, there's so many things I could say, but in reality, the thing is it hasn't happened yet. And as a creator, as wanting to be a musician, it's really important to be around people that you can relate to, and I just haven't found that person or people. But I've always wanted to go to New York, and in New York, I got cousins there, I got family there, and it makes it a lot easier in New York just makes it a lot easier to be yourself, to be honest with you, and to really understand who you are, because there's so much going on, there's so much opportunity, and so much time to practice and put yourself out there. There's so much more opportunities. Overall, when you are seeking this catalog of music that you want to put out there, eventually there will be an audience for you. And I've generated over like close to 20,000 streams, maybe less than that, off music that it's in the thousands that I had before I removed my account. I had an account, and then I removed it to create a new one because I was kind of dealing with this controversy of music being haram as a Muslim. But I removed it, and I came back, and I had no marketing behind my music. I wasn't broadcasting anywhere, and somehow like hundreds of people were following my music at one point through Spotify. Right now, my music went from 0 listeners to 44 listeners. And I'm like, okay, like, I have traction. So I know if I put it out there in a documented way, in a really good way, through videos, through a proper production, through a proper, marketing strategy, there is value to my music, 100%. And there's no denying that. And living out your dreams and meeting your heroes. And that's something I've been envisioning my whole life. Since I was a kid, I've just had this subconscious experience of being someone that is heroic, and that, because music is just heroic to me. When you create this, like Coldplay, creating songs that immediately resonate, immediately hit deep, immediately just create this ambience and environment and aura, and helps society that listens to it become so much more whole and understanding themselves. That's the music I want. I want the song that gets played throughout generations to come, to be like, remember that song that Zuhair made, and that's that song that so easily repeatable to be played and listened to, and it's just such a cultural like point of time that people say that was a song that got me out of so much, and that's the song that many people can relate to and together can have a conversation about it at some point, you know. But yeah, that's my yapping.